but okay, types of verbs. First off, tell me what a verb is. What is a verb?
A verb is an actual word.
Good. It tells you, gives you more information.
What you're doing, or
yeah, go ahead. What you're doing.
it tells us what you are doing and the action.
Okay. Now we have some types and forms of verbs here. We have the regular verbs, irregular, transitive, intransitive, dynamic, stative, main, and auxiliary. Let's pick them one by one. The regular verbs. For the regular verbs, the past tense, you always find D or ED. Most words, for you to understand or know that you're referring to the past, you find these two letters, D or ED. For example, the past tense of look is looked, join is joined. Give me some, apart from what you see on the screen.
I see look.
Apart from what you see on the screen.
Oh, I see the one I know is walk,
any past tense that ends with D.
Walk, walked.
Yeah, very good. Walk, walked, right? Talk,
yes.
talk. Good. Point, pointed. So irregular verb must contain in its past tense D or ED. Okay?
Yes.
Irregular verbs. This one is exactly the opposite of the regular verbs. Does not contain D or ED in its past. Instead, it changes form. Sometimes the whole words or most of the words will even change. For example, go, went. Everything about every word here changed to this, okay? Makes it irregular. Catch, caught, see, saw, put, leave, left. Give me some.
You
are still thinking?
Push.
If it push is still pushed, then you'll be referring to this. Here.
I meant pull and push.
Okay, pull.
And push.
No, push is not the past tense for pull. I need a word with its past tense different from the regular verb. You cannot add ed to any of those words here and make sense. You cannot say gold. You cannot say catch it, right? You cannot say put it. So I want you to give me a word where if you change it to its past, almost every letter changes. For G-O, go, every letter changed here. Go, went, catch, caught, see, saw. You can't think of one right now? What about fly? What about fly? F-L-Y, fly. You're searching. What about
bake?
What about fly?
Don't know.
The past tense of fly.
Fly, flew.
Okay, flew, good. You see, there's no ed in the past tense, right? That makes it an irregular verb. Okay, now let me take this again. For regular verb, in this past, you just add ed or d. You just add ed or d, okay? But for irregular verbs, you do not add ed or d. Almost every letter, in some cases, every letter changes. Go, you cannot say gold, doesn't make sense. Go is went. So irregular verbs, you do not add ed, okay? Almost every letter just changes. Now, Fly, let me add one here. Fly, the past tense of fly is flew. You can also say flown for the past. So there is no ed. You cannot say flied. Okay? You cannot say fly.
Yes.
Good. Now, transitive verbs. For this one, requires that you mention a subject and an object. For transitive verbs, in a sentence, you must mention a subject and an object. David killed Goliath. It becomes transitive because the action moves from the subject to the object. David is doing something to Goliath, which is what?
It is transitive verb.
Yeah, what is David doing to Goliath?
He killed Goliath.
Good. Thank you. So a transitive verb moves from the subject, which is David, to the object. Okay? Mary married John. Is it John or Joseph? Sorry. Mary married John. Okay? So transitive verb, the verb must connect the subject and the object. Intransitive, the subject must not connect with the object. That means in the sentence, you do not need to find the object, you find only the subject. Now, look at this. This is the shortest verse in the Bible, I think. Jesus wept. What is the object in this first sentence here?
Wept.
No, is wept an object?
No, Jesus.
Jesus Christ. What is the subject here for number one?
Jesus Christ.
Okay. What is the verb?
He wept.
What is the object?
It's Jesus.
How can Jesus be the subject and the object? Have you forgotten what object is? Okay, a subject is the one performing the action. Remember we had that lesson some few weeks ago.
Yes.
The object is the one that receives the action. Here, is there anybody receiving the action? Good. So, but here, is there somebody receiving the action?
Yes.
Which is who?
Goliath.
Thank you very much. So, intransitive verb simply means there will be no object. So you just mention the subject and the verb. Jesus wept. Okay? Mary lied. The man died. The boy fell. Okay? So you just mention the subject and the verb below. Okay? So let me look for easy ones now. Dynamic verbs show action. It shows you are doing something. He's riding a bike. The action here is riding. He landed on the floor. This is the action. Andy pushed Temi. Toby's eating rice. So these dynamic verbs show you action. Dynamic verbs show you that somebody is doing something. Okay? Now, we have stative verbs. The stative verbs shows that you are thinking or you are feeling something. You are not doing anything. For example, if you say, in my next exam, I'll make sure I score 100. And I tell you, I believe you. Am I doing anything?
Yes.
What am I doing?
You're saying that in next year you're going to what's good?
No, you said you are going to score 100%. I now reply, I believe you. In that sentence here, there's this sentence, I believe you. Am I doing anything here? I'm just telling you what I feel. or what I think. I believe you. Okay? Mary, let's do this one. Do you see him apologizing?
No, he's just sitting down there.
Yeah. She's feeling bad. Is she doing anything? Good. She's just telling you how the person is feeling. I like cookies. Was it cookies? There was one chocolate you mentioned, one confectionery you mentioned. Was it Mandy or Oreo, something like that? Okay. I like cookies. What are you doing there in that sentence, number 5? When you say, I like cookies.
Nothing, I'm doing nothing. I'm just making cookies.
Yes, you're just feeling. So then this one is auxiliary verbs. Auxiliary verbs actually, let me put it this way. When was the last time you visited a hospital? When was the last time you went to the hospital? The clinic, or?
What the last time I went to the hospital?
Or you saw your doctor?
The last time I went to the hospital was September.
Okay, now that was last month. Now, when you saw the doctor, I think some people were helping the doctor. Okay, the doctor cannot do everything by himself.
No, the nurse was.
Good, thank you very much. So the nurses, they provide help. Okay, they provide a kind of help to the doctor, to help the doctor, perform his duties smoothly. When the doctor says, I need a plaster, the doctor cannot go and get the plaster because he will be busy with someone. So the nurses will go and get the plaster. So auxiliary verbs are those verbs that help the main verbs do something. For example, I can help you. The main verb here is help. The can here is providing help. Mary does not like Jane. The main verb here is like. The does here is providing a help to the like. She is feeling bad. This is the main verb here, feeling. The is here is providing help to tell people how the person is actually feeling. I have been watching you. The watching here is the main verb, okay? Have is the auxiliary verb providing a help or some help to watching. Now, we have the lexical or the main verb. In a sentence, there must be one particular verb, which is the most important verb in the sentence, telling you the main thing. For example, Dave ate the pie. The most important verb here is the ate, telling you what David actually did. I have been watching it. The main verb here is watching because it's telling you the only action. This is the only main action. If you remove watching here, the sentence will actually make no sense. Okay? The sentence will actually make no sense. So the main verbs are the most important verbs in the sentence. For phrasal verbs, if you know what a preposition is, it will make it easier. A phrasal verb begins with a verb and ends with a preposition. Okay? So prepositions like in, under, for, to, those are prepositions. So when you place a verb before the prepositions, you have a phrasal verb. For example, I will look at the picture. Now, let me unmute you now because the background noise was kind of blasting my eardrums. I will look at the picture. The look at, what is the verb there, please, for number 1?
Even like I will look at a picture, so that person will look at.
Yeah, yeah, in the on the line one. What is the verb here? Can you just point out the word that is the verb?
Look
Good. Then what is the preposition?
at.
Perfect. So to get a phrasal verb, you must have two things. It must begin with a verb and it must end with a preposition. Okay? That's how you get to
Yes.
phrase. Now the phrasal verb, we call them a kind of stock phrase. It does not change. Did she make up the story? What does that mean?
Did she make the story?
That's if she
So
kind of.
is it like if she did it or not?
Okay. What about this one? The story does not add up. What does it mean?
The story does not continue.
No, it means the the story, the person is sounding like the person is lying. For example, if I ask you where you're coming from, you say you just landed from space and you'll be running on the moon. Those two things will not does not add up because those two things do not add up because I don't think you can actually run on the moon because of the gravity thing there. That you cannot just land from space without, there should be other experiences. Or say you went to the school and perhaps you saw a unicorn charging. Come on, when was the last time we saw the unicorn? So when you say the story does not add up, it means the story might not be true. Now look at number 5. I will not give up on him. Can you understand? Can you explain what that means?
I will not leave him alone.
Okay, I will not give up, like I will not lose faith in him. There are some students you will, as a teacher, you do your best to make sure that they do well, but they are not just interested. And you say, I will not give up on you. That means I will keep doing my best to make sure you learn. Okay, you will not surrender. So let us go through this again. Verbs, you know what verbs are, and we have the regular, irregular, transitive. Now we said the regular verbs, you will in their past tense, you must find D or ED. Okay, now you gave an example. You said, okay, let me erase this one. You said walk, sorry. You said walk, right?
Yes.
Can you give me more? Just one, walked. Just give me one more. Let me write here. One regular.
Bake and
Okay.
bake.
Oh, very good. Bake. Then you have good. Baked. Thank you. For irregular verbs, you do not need a D or an ED. Okay? You do not need a D or an ED. So almost every of the letter changes. In fact, in go, everything changes. So fly, I don't think you can say fly. It doesn't make sense, right?
Yes.
Is flew. So those verbs that you do not add ed in their past, okay, those words you do not add ed in their past, those are irregular verbs. Transitive verb simply means that the verb must connect the subject to the object. Andy and Josh played basketball in the yard. Okay, Josh pushed Andy. Now look at this. The subject is Josh, the object is Andy. Okay?
Yes.
For intransitive, you do not need the object. What you just need is the subject, one person. Andy, look at the example just below this picture. Andy fell. Jesus wept, the boy fell. Okay? But if I say the boy fell on the floor, okay, so that could be, and that would be transitive. Dynamic verbs show actions, okay? They show action and She's riding a bicycle. It shows that the girl is doing something. He landed on the floor, shows that the boy or the man did something. Andy pushed Tammy. Andy pushed Tammy. And it shows Andy performed an action. Toby is eating rice. Shows you're performing an action. Starting has to do with feelings and what you think. She's feeling bad. I love cookies. Love here. I love cookies. You're not doing anything right now, but you're just feeling, okay? Auxiliary,
Yes.
just like the nurses, you provide help. Who can help me? In fact, I'm going to send a slide to you right now so that you can practice, because I'm going to, so that you can practice these so that tomorrow we just, go for further knowledge concepts. The main verbs, they are the most important verbs in the sentence. I can help you. The most important thing here, what the person is trying to say here is that I can provide help. Okay, so the can here is just providing a help to the word help. Dave ate the pie. This is the message you're trying to pass across. David ate. Okay, David can eat the pie. The can here provides help to the ate. Okay, so finally, phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs a phrasal verb begins with a verb and ends with a preposition. Let me look at, I will not go down with you. Okay. I will not go down with you. Okay. So the go down here, these are words you hear in action movies. I will not go down. This is the verb. This is the preposition. Okay. So when you have a phrasal verb, when the group of words begins with a verb and ends with a preposition. Okay, so I'm going to send you the slide now. You go through it for tomorrow's exercise. Do you have any questions?